everyone, and welcome to another episode of Lunch and Life with Sharon and
Robin Joy.
So Robin and I were just thinking, like, sometimes we get stuck, and we were actually stuck with what we should talk about for today's episode. And then we realized, wait, why don't we just talk about being stuck and what to do when you're stuck?
We are totally stuck.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I'm sure we all go through it and we get down on ourselves and frustrated and annoyed. And then that blocks even more energy.
Right. And instead of feeling like bad for being stuck, it's and stuck for being stuck. Like it's either you keep getting stuck or you just kind of like give into it and say, what do we do with this?
Yeah. And it's a bleh, bleh.
That's part of being stuck. Bleh.
Having trouble talking.
Excuse me.
Like the whole idea of being stuck, right? When you're in it, you don't even realize sometimes that you're in it. And you just like on that hamster wheel, you're going and going and going. And it's what's that phrase of being insanity or trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And you're
Right.
stuck.
Right. Like Groundhog's Day or whatever it is, right? That movie.
Yeah, but that's also why it's so important, like, to have somebody to bounce things back and forth with, as you and I do.
Yeah.
If not, we were ready to just say, hey, let's regroup later. And we didn't, because all of a sudden you're like, hey, what if we just talk about being stuck? So what can we do?
Well, I think it's real, right? I mean, we're as real as any of you are. And I think it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in or what stage of your business, whether you're running your own business or you're working for somebody or not. It happens to all of us, right? So
Yeah.
We're stuck. We're stuck in kind of the conversation of what kind of topic do we think would serve you guys, and we want to make sure that we're bringing our best forward to you, but we're stuck in what is that without feeling repetitive, or is this the best we could do?
Right. And it's fascinating because when I say you, just in general, you go through these periods, and when you get through it, you're like, all right, done. Like, it won't happen again, but it does. And I think we sometimes just feel so alone when we're going through it. And then those old thoughts and habits start, creeping in of, I'm not good enough, and what's wrong with me, and all these other things that just take us down the rabbit hole. And we need to just breathe and sometimes just shut down, even if it's a work day. And I had that actually last Friday. I think I told you, like, I got stuck. And it was just like in this place of my head, my mind was just ruminating on the same thought over and over and over again. And I couldn't focus on anything. And then I started to feel bad about not being able to focus and that I was wasting time. And I finally realized, you know what, this is doing no one any good. I didn't have any clients on Friday, which I generally don't, except for one. And I was like, you know what, I'm shutting down. I don't care that I think it's supposed to be a productive work day. I need this mental time. I need, like a day off, a mental break. I shut everything down. I went out and I walked all the way down to the farmer's market, and I just spent the day outside. And I came back and I felt so rejuvenated. And literally, that was my day of self-care.
Nice. That's great. And you felt better.
Yeah.
Well, I've had the same sort of week. I've been sick, and you probably all can hear it in my voice. So excuse me up front if I start hacking away, but same sort of thing. So my energy level has been low, and then my mind starts going, how unproductive. So today I was going to get up and I was going to get going, and I feel 1,000% better. But here we are, we're going to like get on it. And what are we going to do? And what are we going to record? And I'm like, maybe my brain isn't at full capacity yet because I don't know what we're going to talk about. But then you do go down that rabbit hole, and I'm like, wow, it's 10:30 Eastern time, and what have I done yet? And I haven't caught up yet, and I'm still on emails, and you start beating yourself up, right? It's kind of like, instead of what am I getting done, and taking the baby steps to get things done, it's what have I not done? So it's shutting that off and just saying, be kind to yourself, and you're going to get done what you can get done.
Yeah.
And just do it, rather than, like, if you try to think of take on too much, it shuts yourself down, right? Rather than just start chunking at it and taking baby steps to do it. So
Made such a great point about focusing on what we are getting done versus on what we usually do is focus on what we're not getting done. And I think that's a huge tip for everybody to realize, is like every day, make a list of what you did accomplish. We're always going to have a to-do list. There's always going to be a checklist. So make a list of what I did accomplish. And even if it's like I took a day off for self-care, you need to move that energy. That's an accomplishment because you took care of yourself.
mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like playing with the mindset shift of this is okay. I'm
Right.
okay.
Right. It's the permission to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's huge. And for me, it's always about being outdoors.
Definitely. And it's nice with the weather sort of shifting. I don't know about you. I know we've all had these crazy hot to cold to the storms coming through, but the weather's been really nice in the morning. So just being able to get a little bit of cooler air and breathe a little bit, especially being congested, breathing is a nice thing. You realize how
Your
nice.
energy back. You'll get it all back.
It's a very nice thing. But just to be able to do that, and it's kind of, it resets the brain. I mean, it sounds so minuscule to do, but it is so important to do.
Again, another great point about it sounding so minuscule. We overthink and we try to make things so much more complicated than they need to be. And if we were to just take that step back and break it up and really look at it at face value and realize we can simplify things, that could start and help us to create those better habits, right? That awareness, that connection of how can I stack this and just keep building on one small step every day. And, we keep coming back to that because even with everything that I was going through, or actually because of everything I was going through, I was starting to feel anxiety
right
in the body. And so it just gets trapped. And it was getting trapped like in my chest and in my throat. And when that happens, it affects your gut, it affects your mind, everything. It starts to feel surreal and kind of, I don't know, it just was having like this out of body experience, and just thought, now I gotta shake this up.
Yeah, definitely.
Went outside, but sometimes it's just like getting up, putting on music, dancing, doing crazy that your body's not used to doing.
Just something to change it, and get away from the papers in front of you and the notebooks and just that thought process, right? Turn off your computer for a second and just move. Just put the phone away and just get away from it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then the other thing, when you said with the papers, like my papers were in every single room, in my bedroom, in my living room, in my office, and everywhere I looked, there were papers. And that was also just kind of like keeping me from being able to be in the flow. And I said, okay, well, I'm not ready to organize all of this, but I have to put it in one room. So I took all the piles and I put it into the office and closed the door. So it's not, I still have to address it, but at least I'm in a cleaner space here in my living room area where I do these, my calls and our shows, to at least feel like, okay, I have moved that energy and I'll address those piles slowly.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point though, because I find sometimes when the clutter expands, right, my brain power scatters more. You know what I mean? I can't focus because it's kind of everywhere. So you're reminded of bits and pieces everywhere. So it's like remember we talked about taking like one room at a time and like decluttering that one space? I like the idea because then you can shut the door. You'll get to it, but you can shut it, you know? It's like going through the mail, like you just have that big pile when you come back from a vacation and you slowly get through it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's actually funny because my mom was away for a few months and she had all of her mail forwarded to me. So I went through everything and then I would chat with her to see what to keep, what to throw out. But she still had a pile like this big that I delivered to her the other day so that she could go through whatever was left and get rid of it. But yeah, it's there's always going to be something. So it's reminding yourself that it's okay. Start with one thing, and when you create those habits, then you can schedule it into your calendar to make
Yeah.
room for it. And I think that's a big thing too, is just scheduling things so that you can breathe, knowing that you have some structure,
Yeah.
which we all need. Oh, well, some more than others, but some structure to then be free to flow within it.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel a little unstuck just talking about it. Thanks.
I know, I am also.
I actually feel a little bit better right now.
Yeah, because it's just amazing. You know, we sometimes, it just goes back to we're all in this together, right? We all go through this. This isn't unusual. There's, you know, it's common and it's okay, right? So we have to
Mhm.
just keep that reminder and just take some action steps. So, yeah, I think that's, you know, we can leave everybody with those small steps of putting everything down, leaving if you have to, moving around, doing some crazy movements, music, take a break, exercise, whatever it's going to be. Breathe.
Breathe, phone a friend. You're
Yeah.
not in it alone.
Yeah. Which is huge because we're still, most of us, sequestered with COVID.
Exactly.
Won't even get
Exactly.
started.
Don't even get started. And then if you have a cough, everybody thinks you got COVID. So
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You have to be so mindful, you know, because then you get these looks.
exactly.
So, any
Exactly.
last tips? Anything to share before we sign off?
No, it's normal to feel stuck and it happens to everybody. So just pause and reset and don't let your mind go down that rabbit hole
Yeah,
in the negative. So
and if it
just
does, brain dump also. That, you know, just like we've talked about that before. Brain dump, put it all on paper, get it out of your mind, release it, and then you can move on.
and then move on. So we're here for you.
I feel so much better. I'm
Me
like,
too.
so.
Thanks.
As always, a pleasure to unpack lunch and life with you, Robin.
Absolutely. Definitely unpacking life today.
That's for sure. And please like, subscribe, share with your friends. And we both have some free opt-ins that we have in the description. So please opt in if it fits you. And we will see you all next week.
Take care.